السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم طلابي الأعزاء، طلاب الفرقة الثانية بالمجمع التكنولوجي المتكامل بالأميرية. أهلا بكم في مقرر اللغة الإنجليزية مع الدكتور بدر عبد الفتاح. Before we start our lesson today, I need just to remind you of the main topics or main lessons that we have already covered so far in our course. So we started with lesson number 1, and the title of lesson number 1 is Volvo will start making only all electric cars. In this lesson we covered the 3 main types of electric cars, and we also covered lesson number 2, and the lesson number 2 was about flying car could be on sale next year, and we talked about the idea of flying cars and that flying cars will be available starting from next year, of course, if you're rich enough to get one. Today's lesson is entitled Electricity and Energy, and we start with this slide that you see in front of you. I have a question for this slide, which is, what can you see in this picture? Of course, I used to do like a kind of brainstorming, asking you to tell me what can you see in this picture, but of course, as we are just teaching online, I can expect that some of you will say that this is maybe a stone. Others will expect that it's maybe a source of energy. So we may have like different interpretations about the same picture in different words, in different terminologies. But overall, yes, it's so much related to the idea of energy in general. So we have a reading topic. The reading topic here is starting with the first paragraph. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to present the meanings of difficult words, and then we are going to move to the vocab and the questions at the end of the reading passage. So let's start reading the passage. All life depends on energy. The Earth and our solar system get most of their energy from the sun. Without the sun, life on Earth would not exist. The sun shines on plants, giving them the energy they need to grow and thrive. Animals then eat the plants, which give them energy too. Energy is everywhere. It's all around us. So if you ask me about maybe the meanings of difficult words in this paragraph, I don't think that we do have many difficult words here, except maybe for the word thrive, maybe this one, yes. And by the words thrive, we mean to survive, to remain alive in a good way. So this is the meaning of the word thrive. Other than that, I don't think that we have any difficult words in this paragraph. So it talks just about energy, and it talks about the main source of energy on Earth, which is the sun. And we have here a strong statement about the sun in the third line. Without the sun, life on Earth would not exist. This is not just an opinion, but this is a fact by almost all scientists, that without the sun, life on Earth would not exist. And we have the process. So the process of producing energy out of the sun. So we have the sun shines, and the sun shines on plants, and then giving them the energy they need to grow and thrive. And then animals eat the plants, which give them energy too. Energy is everywhere. It's all around us. This is the first paragraph. It's easy, it's simple. Let's now move to the second paragraph. So one more time, I'm going to read it. Energy comes from nature. Wind, sun, water, fire, and lightning are all sources of energy. in the United States, the most used source of energy are fossil fuels, such as coal and oil. The energy from fossil fuels gives us most of the electricity that lights and heats our homes. Oil also gives us the gasoline that runs our cars. Unfortunately, the burning of fossil fuels pollutes the air. So I think also this paragraph is so simple, easy to understand. It just focuses on the idea of energy. One more time, different sources of energy, clean sources actually of energy, like the wind, like the sun, like water, and then we have different traditional sources of energy like fire and lightning. These are all sources of energy. And we have here an example about the United States. The most used sources of energy in the United States are fossil fuels. And we have examples of fossil fuels here in this paragraph, which is coal and oil. And I'm sure that you know the meaning of the word coal, which is fahm. And then we have oil. And of course, here we are talking about fossil fuels and electricity. As electricity, of course, is very, very important to human beings, as electricity lights and heats our homes. And then we have the idea of the gas or gasoline, which runs our own cars. But on the other side, we do have many, many disadvantages for fossil fuels, which is pollution or polluting the air. Next paragraph here, we're talking about one more time the same idea of energy. Let's read it again. Scientists are working to develop new ways of providing energy without harming the earth. Through advances in research of alternative energy sources, the world is slowly changing from using fossil fuels to using wind power, water power, and solar energy. Windmills are used to capture wind power. Dams help to harness the energy from water. Solar panels collect energy from the sun's rays and keep it stored for future use. So in this paragraph, actually, we focus on different other types of energy. So we have here the wind power, and we have water power, and we have solar energy. And then we're talking about the idea of dams and how dams are used to produce electricity and from water, of course. And we have the other idea of the solar panels, which is used in order to collect or produce electricity out of the sun's rays. So I don't think that the article itself is difficult. I think it's very simple, very easy. So let's focus now on the questions, and we have here some comprehension questions. Question number 1, energy on Earth comes from, you do have 4 alternatives, so which one goes with the answer? Energy on Earth comes from, yes, the sun. So actually the correct answer is the sun. Question number 2. The passage describes the problem of fossil fuels causing pollution. What's a solution in the passage for this problem? Using gasoline in cars, using alternative energy sources, making oil illegal, promoting bicycle programs. So one more time, one of the solutions presented by the passage for the problem of the pollution which is caused by fossil fuels is, okay, which one? Yes, number 2. Using alternative energy sources like wind sources, like wind energy, like solar energy. Next one. all of the following have to do with the new advances in energy except. So we are talking now about new advances of energy, except for just one out of the four alternatives presented here in the question. So is it wind power, water power, solar energy, and lightning? Okay, these are new advances. First one, second one, third one, except, yes, the last one, lightning, which is a rod. So lightning here is not one of the new advances of energy. Question number 4. Read the following sentence. The sun shines on plants, giving them the energy they need to grow and thrive. We're asking now about the meaning of the word thrive, and I think that I explain it in the second paragraph. So the word thrive means, yes, to live well. That's the meaning of the word thrive. Question number 5. This passage is mostly about, whenever you're asked about this passage is mostly about, so you're asked about the main idea of the passage. So is where energy comes from and how it's used the main idea of the passage, or how wind energy is different from fossil fuels, how plants use the sun's energy, how animals use energy from plants. When we are talking about the main idea, we're talking about the most spread, the most used, the most discussed idea or point in the passage. And if you examine these four choices, you find out that, yes, the first one, which is where energy comes from and how it's used, is the main idea of the passage of the article. Then we have other questions. Question number 6, which is what sources of energy does the passage describe besides fossil fuels? Yes, if you still remember in the passage, it describes like different sources of energy rather than fossil fuels, like solar energy, like wind energy, like water energy. So these are different types and different sources of energy. Also, we talked about lightning. So we talked about different sources of energy. That's for question number 6. For question number 7, it says, based on the passage, why would the world be slowly changing from fossil fuels to other energy sources rather than quickly changing? So in the passage, we're talking about the idea of the slowly changing or the slow changing from fossil fuels to other energy sources for different reasons. One of the main reasons is people are used to fossil fuels. That's number 1. Number 2, other sources of energy are not common. They need like specific locations, and they need specific technicians. But compared to fossil fuels, people are more common in using such fossil fuels, in using such sources of energy. And one of the issues here is to compare between the different types of cars that we studied in the first lesson. So we have electric cars and we have gas-driven cars or petrol-driven cars. If you ask someone which type of cars do you prefer, of course most of us will select the car or the petrol or the gas-driven cars compared to the electric cars, because we are more used to fossil fuels rather than the different or the new sources of energy. That's maybe a kind of a big answer for question number 7, but you can shorten the answer as much as you can. Question number 8. The question below is an incomplete sentence. Choose the answer that best completes the sentence. So we have here scientists want to develop new ways of providing energy without harming the earth. And then we have space here. They are researching alternative energy sources. So which one is appropriate to be used in the space here? Is it then? Is it but? Meanwhile? Or so? If you read it one more time. Scientists want to develop new ways of providing energy without harming the earth. So expect to use so. Yes, correct? So we say so they are researching alternative energy sources. This is the end of lesson number 3. I hope you can benefit from the information presented in this video, and whenever you have any questions, you can send it to me on my WhatsApp number just to address your questions in the next lecture. Thank you so much, and goodbye.